Now, the total number of sales which Nio will be able to generate this year, which as per the guidance we received today, we can safely agree that Nio might sell, or Nio is going to sell around 225,000 deliveries for the entire year. He said these 225,000 vehicles that Nio is going to sell this year, next year Nio is going to double in terms of sales that they generate for 2025. Now, hold on. This is absolutely great, because if the 225,000 deliveries that Nio is going to generate this year, Nio is going to double that next year. It therefore means that next year, even the profitability that we were talking about, just the video before this one, it is very much possible, because it therefore means the total number of sales that we are seeing on a month to month, on average, the 20,000 on average that we are seeing on a month to month this year, it's going to turn to an average of 40,000. This is what it basically means. Nio on average 2025 average monthly sales on a month to month will be around 40,000. This is something that is practical. This is something that we read about, and I mean, you and me can agree that once Onvo L60 gets to delivering maybe 20,000 deliveries, it will be possible for Nio to get to these 40,000 on a month to month. But until we get to 20,000 of Onvo, which is expected to come in March of next year, we are not going to see the 40,000, which therefore means as the year unfolds, we are going to start to seeing Onvo ramping up production and getting to the 30,000 which they plan to on reaching by end of Q4 of next year, right? So this is what we read. Nio is targeting 450,000 deliveries next year, which I personally think it might be more, looking at the fact that the final catalyst, the final piece of the puzzle, it's coming next year, and that is the Firefly sub brand. Once that piece comes in, it's lights out, man. And those short sellers, those people that are telling you bad, those people that are trying so hard to go inside the earnings today that Nio announce and find bad stuff, are all going to be burned next year. They are all going to burn, because Nio is a company that is doing so well. Nio is a company that continues showing us that, you know what, it is changing. It is becoming better with time. Now, if you have to forget everything about Nio Q3 earnings, just remember these three key things that, to me, these are the most extreme bullish maybe things I read from the Q3 earnings. The positive 300 million cash and cash equivalents, which increased the total cash at hands of Nio from $5.7 billion to $6 billion now in Q3. The guidance that Nio gave us for Q4 of between 72 and 75,000 deliveries. And the gross margin heading back to double digits. Nio's gross margin came back to 10.7%. Those are the three key things that you need to, if you have to forget everything about the earnings. Yes, the loss is still remaining the same or almost flat as the kind of loss we saw back in Q2, and that is the loss of $700 million, right? The net loss. But otherwise, three things you need to remember: gross margin, the guidance, Q4 guidance that Nio gave out, and the 300 million positive cash flow that Nio generated in Q3. These are some of the things that, to me, when anyone asks me about the Q3 earnings, these are the first thing that will come to mind. Because, boy, I must say, we've been talking about Nio gross margin coming to double digits. We've been talking about Nio. I have been talking about Nio deliveries outlook or guidance getting over 70,000, and of which to get 72 to 75, it's extremely bullish. I know there are people that hate me, that hate when I say bullish. This is good. I mean, if something is good, it's good, right? And this guidance of 72 to 75,000, they are good, and therefore they are bullish, right? I mean, no, not everyone was expecting this, and seeing that Nio gave this kind of guidance, I think it's pretty good, pretty interesting, because it shows us or tells us that on average Nio, November, December, they are expecting to deliver somewhere an average of 26,000 deliveries, which is absolutely great, right? right, so yeah, man, this is what we read. This is what Nio is saying, that next year they are going to generate total deliveries of 450,000. They are going to double in terms of deliveries that they are going to generate this year, which are going to be around 225,000, which this 450, it's what in Q4 is going to lead into Nio for the very first time reaching profitability as a company, which that is what we are patiently waiting to see. So many of the investors, or some of the retail investors, one thing that I've seen is that some are in denial. This is the very same thing. I'm sorry to offend a bit. This is the very same thing that we saw on SoFi. When I was telling people that SoFi is going to turn to profitability maybe 4 quarters before they did, so many people were bashing SoFi like crazy. And right now SoFi is a profitable company, and no one is, those that were negative onto SoFi have turned to be positive. And I'm telling you again, Nio in Q4 of 2025 is going to be a profitable company. And it's very funny how some people will still bash this and say it's not possible, Nio is not going to get to this. But don't worry, we'll come back to this video, or we'll come back to this exactly comments that I'm telling you here, and I'll remind you when it's Q4 of 2025. Otherwise, I just thought I'd give you this quick update. Tell me what you think about this. Blue sky is coming, long term will win. That's all from me, and God bless you all.